Hey guys, and welcome to my National League predictions for the 2020-21 season. This is my first proper predictions video I've made on YouTube, so if I do predict your team low in the table, don't be disappointed because it is just a prediction and I'm probably going to get them all wrong. It'll be a 23 team league this year due to the sad demise of Macclesfield. I'm gutted for the fans of the club. Hopefully they can get back through the leagues in the years to come. Yeah. And on that note, let's get straight into the predictions. So starting out at the bottom of the league, in 23rd place, I've put Dover Athletic. They have been one of the most affected clubs from the coronavirus pandemic, and their chairman, Jim Parmenter, said about how the club needed a certain amount of money just to start the season. The government rescue package will help them out, but they'll have one of the smallest squads going into the season, and with the schedule through the first months, and with their troubled summer they've had, I can see them really struggling. Finishing 22nd, I've gone with Weymouth, the first of the newly promoted teams in this prediction. The main reason I've put them in the bottom three is that they've lost their manager Mark Molesley to Southend. The success he had with the club in taking them through to the 5th tier was remarkable, and him leaving is going to be a big loss. They may surprise a few, who knows, but I think they are the weakest of the promoted teams in my opinion. The last relegation place was a tough one to decide, but eventually in 21st I went with Altrincham. They were promoted through the National League North playoffs. 3 of the 4 teams promoted from the 6th tier actually have not stayed there for very long. Kings Lynn and Weymouth had back-to-back promotions, and Altrincham got their second promotion in 3 seasons. Elliot Durrell has left. However, they have brought in Matty Casalo, which is a good signing. James Jones, though, is a loss. He signed for Barrow. But the relegation battle is very, very tough to call, and someone has to go down. It took a while to choose who would occupy the last relegation spot, but eventually I decided on Altrincham. In 20th, I've put Kings Lynn Town. Ian Culverhouse has achieved wonders with the Linnets, earning back-to-back promotions and winning a tough National League North division, albeit on PPG. He's given the players who got them here a chance and to continue their way of playing, as I hear they were a good team to watch last season in the National League North. Cameron King is a decent signing, but their best bit of business, in my opinion, is keeping hold of Adam Marriott, who scored 28 goals last season, so that's a big boost for them, and his goals may well just keep them up. 19th, I've gone with Aldershot. They may have signed Ross McCormack, but whilst he will bring with him experience, he is quite past his prime, and even if he does score goals, I struggle to see who else chips in with the goals in the forward positions. The Shots were the joint 3rd least goal scorers last season. However, I do like the signings of Josh Rees and Toby Edzer. They have done well for Bromley and Woking respectively before at this level. However, it is so tight. Like I say, it is tight near the bottom of the table, so it's quite hard to predict the teams where they will finish around near the bottom of the table. It could end up in any order. 18th place, I've gone with Maidenhead. They stayed up by the smallest of points per game margins last season, and had the season concluded, I do believe Ebbsfleet would still be in the National League over them. However, they have recruited well enough. Nathan Blissett is a striker who is experienced at this level. Sam Barrett has re-signed after a good first spell with the club previously a few years ago. Manny Parry and Dan Sparks know this level well. Josh Kelly has also stayed. He originally rejected a contract but has re-signed for them. He is someone I would have liked to have seen at Notts to maybe fill the void left by Christian Dennis. But yeah, I feel like they've recruited better this time around, Maidenhead, and that might help them. In my opinion, that will help them avoid dropping into the bottom 3. 17th, it's the highest promoted team, Wealdstone. The National League South champions pretty much led that league throughout last season. They've kept their squad intact and should have enough to avoid the drop. Moses Emmanuel and Ross Lafayette are experienced at this level. They've signed Danny Parish and Charlie Hughes, both from Malden and Tiptree, and they scored a lot of goals last season for them. So yeah, like I say, they've pretty much kept the core of the squad that won them the National League South title last season. They may flirt with relegation, but in my opinion they do have enough to avoid the drop. 16th place, I've put Eastleigh. They've retained most of their squad from last season, and whilst I don't think they'll be overly worried about a relegation battle, I think mid-table mediocrity is the best they can really hope for. It's solid without being spectacular. Dan Smith could be a shrewd acquisition, as could Abdullah Baggy. Pierce Bird has also joined them from Notts. In 15th, it's Barnet. The Bees have had a budget cut. Darren Curry has left, being replaced by former Hereford manager Peter Beadle. Important members of their playoff squad have left as well. David Tatonda, Simeon Akinola, Callum Reynolds, Elliot Johnson, Shea Alexander, Ricardo Santos, Dan Sweeney, all key players leaving, and it's because of these factors I think they will have a drop. They will drop off this season and finish mid-table, around about lower mid-table, and this may be a season of recovering rather than challenging near the top of the league. 14th place is Woking. They had a good start to last season but dropped off after the first 2 months. They do have a small squad, but they have recruited smartly. John Goddard returns to the club after a few spells in the Football League. Connor Hall has signed from Bolton. I don't think they'll have much to worry about relegation wise, but I don't think they'll be challenging for the playoffs. Just a solid mid-table finish. In 13th it's Sutton. They've had a quiet transfer window, signing only 2 players. Matt Gray has kept the majority of the team from last season, and pretty much like Woking, the playoffs are probably out of their reach, but they'll be solid in mid-table and they'll have a quiet season. Moving into the top half of the table, in 12th I've put Chesterfield. The Spyrites are getting their act together with their ownership. The community trust has taken over and it's big news for the club. They can finally start on the road to recovery. Signings wise, they've brought in Milan Butterfield from Kidderminster Harriers. Jordan Cropper has returned from Burnley. This season may well be a year of transition and getting used to the new ownership before challenging. In 11th I've put Bromley. They got off to a brilliant start last season but eventually finished 13th. If the season started in October then they would have finished 20th. They took their time in the transfer window but have recruited okay. Rico Hackett-Fairchild has returned on loan from Portsmouth. He scored quite a few goals for them at the start of last season. James Alabi did well at this level for Chester. Byron Webster brings experience, as does Liam Trotter, but improvement in teams above them means I think they'll have to settle for 11th. In 10th place I've put Halifax. Pete Wild's side finished in the playoffs last season. They've had a decent transfer window. Jake Hyde is a reliable goal source at this level. Neil Byrne and Luke Summerfield bring experience. The reason I put them 10th is because I think other sides have improved just that little bit more. It was hard to decide the order of the playoff chasing teams. So like I said at the start, don't be disappointed. The prediction is going to be wrong probably, and this league we already know is very, very hard to predict. It is such an unpredictable league. In 9th place I've gone with Torquay. Jamie Reid has left. In his place they've brought in Danny Wright, who is a very reliable goal scorer at this level, previously with Cheltenham and Solihull. Also to replace them lost goals is Andrew Nelson, who is a good capture from Dundee. They've kept players such as Ben Whitfield, Jake Andrews, Carl Cameron and Armani Little. They've kept the core of their squad from last season, and I think they can push on and really challenge the playoffs. However, I do think they will just miss out on that top 7. In 8th place, just missing out on the playoffs, I have Dagenham and Redbridge. Daryl McMahon has been busy in the transfer window. They've signed Callum Reynolds and Elliot Johnson from Barnet. They've signed Paul McCallum as well from Solihull, who was on loan at Barnet last season. They have the tools equipped to prepare themselves for a playoff push. However, I do think they will just miss out. Like I've already said, the playoffs, the teams battling for the playoff places, it was very difficult to decide on an order for them. I think the teams from 7th, the team I have in 7th at the minute, and Dagenham, Torquay and Halifax were all in 7th place at 1 point in my prediction, and it was, like I say, it was difficult, but the factor that swung me in favour of this team in 7th place, which is Wrexham, is the potential investment that may be coming from Ryan Reynolds. Dean Keats has bought well in the transfer window. Elliot Durrell has returned to the club. Jamie Reckford, Adi Youssef, Theo Vassell are adequate signings for the National League. I like the look of Jordan Davis from Brighton as well. Fiacre Kelleher being signed from Macclesfield is a good capture in my opinion. He should do well at this level. Some good transfer business, and off the field they may be getting some good investment, and in my opinion they will improve dramatically on their poor placing last season, because they did struggle last season. Wrexham, they were tipped to challenge near the top of the league, but it never got going for them. But they may just do it this season and get into them playoff places. 6th place, I've put Yeovil. Darren Sarle's side reached the playoffs last season. The Glovers have managed to keep hold of goal-scoring duo Courtney Duffus and Reece Murphy. Miles Hippolyte is a loss for them, he's gone to Scunthorpe. However, they have signed Josh Staunton from Halifax. Jack Clark looks an exciting capture from Aston Villa. Daniel Ledbetter arrives from Newport on loan. They've kept the core of their playoff squad, and I think for the second season running they will reach the playoffs. In 5th, I've put Solihull Moors. They underachieved last season after going spending. Tim Flowers left midway through the season. Former West Brom coach James Shan took over, and he enters his first full season in charge. They've brought in quite a few young players this transfer window. They may go away from being direct as well. Joe Smara, Cameron Cox and Nick Clayton-Phillips, all young players signed from the leagues above. There is a solid core there to take them into a playoff battle. There is a younger squad there. They have the ability to make it into them playoff places, and it's just about extracting the potential from this squad. In 4th place, just missing out on the playoff semi-final positions, it's Boreham Wood. Unlike the previous time, the season after they reached the playoffs, they have been able to retain most of their key players. In 2018-19, they lost quite a few of their playoff final side from the season before. This season, they've managed to keep hold of the likes of Kabongo Shumanga, Sorba Thomas, who I was really impressed with when Bournemouth played Notts last season. Both really exciting players who it won't be long until they play in the Football League. Gus Mafuta is a good bit of transfer business, as is Zane Francis Angol. Nathan Ashmore has joined them permanently. Luke Garrod is a good manager, and I think he'll have them up there again. In 3rd place, I've gone with Hartlepool. It may surprise a few, but last season they were the best team I saw play Notts. They attacked in numbers, pressed well, and they stopped our threats. They play some good football and have recruited well in the transfer window. Mark Shelton and Timmy Odesina have arrived on permanent deals. David Ferguson is a decent capture from York, and Claudio Afusu is an exciting signing from Royston Town. Dave Challoner got Hartlepool playing some good football at the end of last season, and if that continues they may well be up there. Now it's just down to 2 teams. Both have had good transfer windows and both are backed really well. It was hard to split them. You'll probably know which 2 teams I'm talking about, but the deciding factor in the end was that I think Notts haven't replaced Christian Dennis. We've made good signings, Jake Reeves and Ruben Rodriguez included. We've kept the core of our squad from last season: Alex Lacey, Michael Doyle, Cal Roberts. They will all be crucial. Elijah Sam and Jimmy Knowles need time to settle, get used to how we play and gel with the team, but Christian Dennis brought a lot to the team with his movement, positioning, link-up play and runs in behind, and at the back end of last season he was phenomenal with Kyle Wotton up top. We have the team to go up, but I'm a bit sceptical about our options up front. The creativity midfield and out wide may help them, but I feel for this reason Stockport will finish top. The Hatters have had a great window. Connor Jennings has been a success at this level before with Tranmere and was instrumental in their recent back-to-back promotions. John Rooney arrives from Barrow. He scored 17 goals from midfield last season. Ryan Crosdale and Jordan Williams have signed from Fylde. 2 players who have proven themselves to be good players, but Fylde were a shambles last season. Mark Kitching and Macaulay Southam-Hales are more solid additions. They have quality and abundance all over the pitch, and I think they will pip us to the title. So yeah, there it is. I hope you guys enjoyed something a little different. Like I say, don't take the predictions to heart because this league is ridiculously unpredictable. Thank you for watching. I hope you're all well, keeping well and staying safe. Hopefully we will be allowed into ground soon. Be safe, be champions, and as always, Toulouche.